Good evening, Patrick here. 8 questions with Hachita will view. And welcome to Wednesday. It is time for the show. Tonight we'll be talking with rising actress Melissa Sapienza. I hope I said that right. I probably crushed it. She will be here in about 15 minutes. Melissa has a great range of credits, including Crackoon, Cracula. Some of those movies are coming up. Killer Camp Out number part two. The part two, yeah, Killer Camp Out part two. Death Board, Arm Wrestling Roulette. Now, that's awesome. But we know we're all fired up for the what's coming up because it's hilarious. Um, of course, that being Cracula and Crackcoon, because that continues the trend of making everything movies, everything animals into into substance abuse creatures. Is that a new trend? Is that a new genre? Substance abuse creatures. I don't know. Could be. She also has some other movies that are in production, including Love is Found in Unexpected Places, which is going to be released as a short film. Sounds like that one's going to be a straight drama. And of course we have The Legend of Crickfoot. Man, she has just a great she has a great library, a body of work. We're fired up to talk to her about it too, because everybody knows we love good horror, right? That's what we like. That's what we're all about. So Melissa will be here, and we'll be talking about that. And of course, she's worked with a lot of actresses that have actually worked here, have actually worked, uh, uh, have been guests on the show. I'm sorry, I'm a little discombobulated. So let me get my shit here together. Oh, and the doorbell has rung, so Melissa is going to save me. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. Melissa is here, so let's go bring her on and let's get this party started. Hey, Anthony, how are you? Hey, Gizmo. All right, and the Ice Lord, Autobots, roll out. And Melissa is here.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. How
Oh,
are you?
good, good. Looks like we have feedback.
Okay. Let me
Um, maybe turn the sound down on your monitor if you have it.
see. How does this? Is this better?
Testing 1, 2. Yeah, yep, that's
Yep.
perfect. Can you hear
That's
me all
better?
right? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It looks like are you on location right now?
I am in my husband's
Oh,
space, his dwelling, where he plays
is he,
music and video games and records things. So,
he let you inside the man cave?
yeah.
Man, worship. You got yourself a good one right there, Melissa.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. He lets me play.
That is so cool. I love hearing that. I think I just saw you commented. I posted that you guys are celebrating your 1 year anniversary, right?
Yeah, it was, June 24th. It's been a year. It's been a really fast year.
Isn't it? Yeah. It always once you get married, the years fly by. They do. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun being married. You'll wonder how come you didn't do it sooner.
Yeah, yeah, the funny thing is this is actually my 2nd marriage, but,
Oh,
it's yeah, but, no, he's a good egg, and it's one of those situations where it's right, like,
yep.
it feels right, it's right, like, he's
Yeah.
stuck with me.
That's yep. That's right, and I'm so happy for it too. It's congratulations. My wedding anniversary was the 19th of June, so real
Oh,
close
nice.
together. Yeah. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. It would have been 20 years. So, but we still celebrate it and still and raise it up. And I'm super happy to hear. I saw that on your Facebook, and I'm like, oh, I gotta say congratulations to these
Oh,
guys.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, let me go to the chat because the chat is here, led by
Hi,
our good
chat.
friend. Yes, led by our good friend, the mighty Ice Lord. Um, as the Anthony's here, he just went to the library today. Our good friend, film director Renier, also known as Gizmo. He is an excellent film director, by the way. Excellent.
Nice.
Let's see. Hope you're good. Yeah, I'm hanging in there. Just chilling with Howard the Duck on the TV and eating myself good and fat.
Oh
Howard
my
the
gosh,
Duck.
I haven't seen Howard the Duck in quite some time.
I'll tell you a small secret. I have never seen it.
What? It's so funny. So, I remember watching Howard the Duck when I was probably around 4 or 5 years old, and watching it then, like, I was absolutely like, I loved it. It was so weird and fun and goofy and this talking duck, and now I watch it, and I'm like, "Wow." I just it's different. It's different.
Excuse me one
There's some
second.
yeah.
What do you gotta stop doing that. Oh no, don't. My the cheetah is licking carpet underneath, and I don't want him getting I don't want him choking on the carpet. Come on, no, no, no. God. They always say you always just say the cat's always still seen. So
Oh,
and
yeah.
now he's mad at me. So now he's back there scratching the carpet. Thanks so much, Howard. Um, what? Oh my God, he has not done this in years.
I permit cats on camera, so, like,
Oh
if he
yeah,
feels like he's gotta steal the show, I'm all for it.
yeah, he has not. I mean, most of the time he comes in there. Well, before when I first started the show, he would jump up there, walk up and down, and then he would lay by my feet. Then he'd jump up on me. Now he's going over in the corner. He's licking carpet. It's like I normally wouldn't care, except that if he does that, he'll throw up a fur ball down the line. That sounds like a horror movie plot, doesn't it?
That I would be really surprised if nobody came up with that yet.
I mean, 'cause you got Cracula on your resume, and you have Crackcoon
Yes.
on there, so why not a rug-eating cheetah?
Yes, please.
That's right, that's right.
Call it something,
That
like, really weird, like Carpet Muncher or something like
now you said that, I had nothing to do with that one. Uh, let's see who else is here. Prince is here. Hey, Prince, how are you? And Zach Attack Reviews is here. Zach is in the house. What's going on, Zach? Glad you're here. And yeah, so this is now. How am I saying your last name? I'm saying it Melissa Sapienza. Sapienza?
Sapienza.
Sapienza. Okay,
Sapienza. Yeah.
so I've been massacring it for the whole week, 2 weeks. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Well, glad you're here.
Thank you.
And it was really strange. One of the things that we were talking about, that we're going to talk about, is you have so many fun projects that you're a part of. I was looking at your body of work on your IMDb page, and I'm just sitting there going like, like I always go through and always like mark off like 3 movies that I want to get to introduce the artist to. Like I want to see what their work is all about, whether
Yeah.
it be before the show or after the show. So normally I just go out there and put the first 3 down. It's like, all right, then I'll look for them and what have you. I found myself going like, I got to hit them all, which never happens, Melissa. It never happens. It's always just like 1 through 3. Uh, but I'm going looking at yours. I'm going like, man, this sounds absolutely a blast. This is like hell of a body of work, and I definitely want to see Killer Campout. That's probably my number one. I looked at that and went like, okay, let's see who's in that. Oh, Melissa's in it. Holy cow, Angel's in here. All right, and then
Yes.
and then the Mighty Morgan is in here. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. Yeah, I did not know that you guys knew each other.
Yeah, we met on a previous set and, Killer Campout 2 brought us back together. So, that was really cool to reunite with those girls.
Uh, what's it like when you work with somebody like that on a regular basis? Like if you work with somebody, like you do one movie, then come back and do another one, come back and do another one. It's all different style of movies, but do you find yourself acting this? Do you approach the same roles like you would from each? Like I've worked with Morgan before. I know her strengths, I know her weaknesses. So I'm going to
Yeah.
act according to that. Do you do that, or is every project completely different and you have to have a clean slate when you approach it?
Um, so as for rapport with any cast and crew member that I work with repeatedly, it's like a family reunion. Every time that you get back on set with them, it's you never you never skipped a beat with them, and you pick right back up, and it's fantastic. Like, I love being able to work with people on multiple projects. But as for characters and character development, I do like to start with a fresh slate because not every character has the same background or the same type of interactions with one another. Um, so I do like to start with the clean slate, but obviously off camera, we're like buddies. I'm like giving Morgan like piggyback rides and shit, and yeah, it's fine.
I was just wondering about that because it's like, because to me, it'd be you got to be careful in one sense that you don't get too familiar with each other because I've seen that. I've seen movies with the cast have known each other, and instead of acting for the camera, acting for the the audience, they
Yeah.
find themselves acting for themselves. Like it's like that's all who's there. There's nobody there other than them in that moment. And I think sometimes when actors are get too comfortable with each other, that sometimes can happen, and then they forget the audience.
I think the
You know.
biggest thing is still coming into your project with professionalism. I mean, there is time to mingle and, be silly with each other. Um, but still it's nice to have that chemistry already there, regardless of whatever roles you're filling. But a true professional should still be able to deliver the performance you want, regardless of the relationships that are on set.
We have the first question for you of the night. It comes from our friend Prince, and he wants to know your four favorite films, all in, not
Hi,
any,
Prince.
regardless of genre. What are your four favorite films?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm going to have to say top four Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. That is
Hmm.
by far like my favorite Elm Street out of all of them. I am a huge Freddy nerd. Um, I really love Nightmare Before Christmas. Very whimsical, very um, just a lot of fun. It's a tradition to watch in my house. Um, I wanna say oh, this is hard. Um, let's say I'm gonna actually go with, um, the, Muppets Christmas Carol. The Muppet
Okay.
Christmas Carol is I love the Muppets, and the Christmas Carol, like, that is one of those movies that I can recite, and it's just I never get sick of it.
Right.
And, I really, really enjoy, Zombievers. That's another fun one.
Which
I
one was
mean,
it?
there's so
Zombie.
Zombievers?
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's with, these mutated beavers, and it's, like, all puppetry, and it's just really goofy, a great movie, but I would say let's stick with those 4 for now, but, um
It could change by the end of the show.
exactly. There's just it's so hard to pick, like, a top 4. That's tough.
It's really tough though. It's when they turn around and ask you, name me four movies that you don't like. Those are harder than the ones. That's always a
Oh.
tougher
Oh,
question than
yeah.
four favorites.
Um, there was one that I just watched, a few months ago. It's, oh my goodness, it had Walking Phoenix in it, something
Joker,
like his name what? No,
Joker.
his name is Bo or
Oh, Bo is afraid.
Bo is Afraid. That gave like, it was anxiety the whole time, and I'm already an anxious mother trucker, so that was just I absolutely not, I will never watch that again. It was like the first 20 minutes was entertaining, and then I'm like, "Nope, I'm done. I'm done."
You and I will do well to ride the river together because I am not a I'm not a big A24 fan either. I mean, I like their
Okay.
movies, but I mean, a lot of the movies, I mean, I like that one. It got sort of overhyped for me. Um,
Yeah.
it got a little hype. I don't know. I mean, Joker didn't really set me on fire either. I think the
It
last time
wasn't
I
bad
actually
though.
I think the last movie I saw with Joaquin Phoenix that I really liked, that I was just like, man, this is so good. And it's gonna people are probably gonna laugh at this, but I really think it was Ladder 49. I thought I was so moved by that movie, and I was so moved by his performance. I loved it. I loved it. I mean, he's done
Yeah.
some weird things since then, but Ladder 49 with him and John Travolta, I thought it was just an amazing movie.
Yeah.
I what I mean by laugh at that because, because everybody knows how I feel about A24 here. What I mean by that, because Ladder 49 is not a funny movie. It's a very serious movie, as a
Right.
matter of fact. But I don't know how many people would, they'd probably be surprised that I like that movie. But that's the movie I really liked of his. Um, I'm not really a fan of the Joker. I just not. It just doesn't float my boat. Um, but I guess I guess though I guess you got to give it to him, and I'll put this question to you as well.
Sure.
I mean, I guess you got to respect the fact that he stretched his creative wings, and
Oh,
that's the other thing
absolutely.
too. It's like, is it hard to do that on the independent horror circuit as far as to stretching your acting wings, stretching your creative wings? Do you find yourself sometimes looking at the script and it's the same old, same five friends in the woods, all getting chopped up by a killer, and it's like, wow, I've done this before. I could bring something. I'll try to bring something new to the character, but man, oh man, I just wish I could have something a little bit different on the plate.
Um, as of now, I have not really had that kind of experience. Only because and I apologize if you hear scratching, my beagle is being a butthead trying to get in here.
You probably hears my cat.
But when I've been presented scripts and, it does kind of follow a similar formula, I've always had the opportunities to make those characters my own within reason. So I always feel like you might have the typical role, but I've had the creative freedom to kind of make it my own. So I haven't really been bored with the script yet.
Oh, so how do you approach your characters because to me, I think acting in a horror film, indie horror film, I think it's challenging. I think it's so much more challenge to that than say a rich, opulent Hollywood production with massively written script by six different script doctors.
Mhm.
You just go in there and memorize your lines. It's going to be just like glorious. $100 million set and all that other stuff. To me, I think acting in indie horror, indie dramas, it's just so much more difficult because you don't have that much time. You got a limited amount of time to come up with the character, identify it, become that character, and do it really fast. Um, do you find yourself challenged in that process to
Um,
create characters, or has it become second nature for you?
I coming up with characters and being a character in general has always been pretty natural to me.
Mm.
Um, and if I do have a question, I mean, just talking to the director or, whoever wrote the script, on, hey, do you have any direction for this person? Like any um muses or any extra backstory that I need to consider. Um, but other than that, I mean, I've been thankfully been able to slip into characters pretty easily.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I mean, to be able to have that gift. But I want to go back to the beginning because we're going to come back and revisit the process. But when did you decide that this is something you wanted to do? Do you want to become an actress? Had it always been in your bones, or was it something that you picked up in high school or before? How did Melissa get her start?
I've always loved performing as early as, grade school doing like church choirs and um auditioning for, like, show choirs, ensembles, taking voice lessons, things like that, and, doing, musical theater, and, after high school, took a little bit of a breather, between doing college and, having a family and everything. And I got back into acting as a haunt actor back in 2016.
Oh,
And I was also already playing with special effects makeup, making cosplays, budget, like under $100 cosplays, all kinds of fun stuff. And, um, I would say around 2019, is when I got into the indie film area, and that started off as special effects. And then word got around like, "Hey, I'm not a horrible person to have around on set. You wanna give her a try, as an actor?" And here we are.
um, were you surprised that when you started as a haunt actor, were you surprised at how serious people were taking it? Like before, you would come to a haunted house and you dressed up in costume and and you just go ahead and do your scares and whatnot. But haunts have evolved.
Oh,
Now it's
yeah.
a very serious business. Same
It
thing with
is.
cosplay. Cosplay used to be like you dress up and you come with a somewhat of a costume and then you show up and but now that also is big business. Um,
Mhm.
have you been surprised to see that evolve that way, or did you see it coming when you started out?
I mean, I started, um, at a haunted attraction that already was really big on providing immersive experiences. So it wasn't just someone popping out and saying boo. Like there was a story to be told throughout going through the attraction. So I kind of started off with that mentality already and, still try to deliver that there's a story to be told. It's not just, you know, someone in a mask yelling at you. Like there's something there. And, I've been lucky enough to see some other haunted attractions that definitely it is the same thing. It's they want to pull you in with every sense that they're allowed to trigger for you, whether it's sight, smell, sound, you know.
Yeah, and cosplay the same thing. I mean,
Mhm.
did you always start building your costume, or because you see some people you can tell that part of it was store bought. The mask and some of the clothes they
Mhm.
put on was all store bought. But now it seems like now you have to build your costume from the ground up in order to be taken, I guess, seriously as a cosplayer. Did that evolve as well? Did you notice that as well? And how did you feel about that? I mean, did it make it more fun to be a haunt actor or a cosplayer, knowing that things sort of got ramped up? The expectations were raised.
Um, I mean, honestly, I never took cosplay super seriously because I feel like whether it's store bought or you built it from scrap, like as long as you're enjoying the art and, if somebody did create your costume for you, you give them credit because you're just displaying someone else's art. Um, that I I just I s- in regards to cosplay, I don't have strong opinions on homemade versus, store-bought. I've always personally liked building myself only because, I've always liked, creating. So, it's the process of figuring out how to make the things work. Like, I created Audrey 2 from Shop of Horrors, and I can wear the giant head, and all I did was made it out of cardboard and fabric and hot glue and paint, but it looked great. It's the process of it that I really enjoy, and I mean, some people unfortunately don't have that creative flow, so as long as
Right.
they're enjoying dressing up and playing the character, just let them go.
Let's
Thanks for
see.
the follow.
Yes, yes, and I have not seen Napoleon yet. I don't think Apple is going to release it for on physical media, so I'm out of that. Let's see. And Prince also wants to know your underrated film pick from any decade.
Ooh,
Underrated film from any decade.
underrated film pick from any decade. Huh.
That's a
I
tough
don't know if
question.
this I don't know if this is necessarily an underrated film because I know that, um, at its time, I felt like it was impactful was, Girl Interrupted with
Mm,
Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie. I was
nice.
just talking to my husband about that, and, like, that is a movie that I would I will still go back and just be like, "Wow." Like, that was a story to be told, and it was executed really well.
I'm a huge Angelina fan. I think she's a hell of an
Yes.
actress. I do. I find myself watching. I find myself pretty much watching everything that she's done. She's interesting to look at. Like not just pretty, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
it's just because you can see the gears go in her head.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, and yeah, she can bring it. She can bring it for sure. Um, let's see. Keep creating your art and don't give a yeah, don't give a fuck. Yeah, yeah. I only asked about the cosplay because we've had a few
Yeah.
cosplayers on here, and I've seen some of the costume, and man, there's a lot of money and a lot of time and effort has built that. And I remember going to my first convention and just seeing
Yeah.
people. The costumes were barely more than what you would see on Halloween.
Yeah.
And now today it's just absolutely like,
Extravagant, and
yeah.
it
I
starts at
mean, you
such
don't,
a young age.
and you're thinking of yourself going like, if they wanted to, they could probably get a wardrobe job at some studio because this is some really good stuff here. Um,
Have you ever, heard of the cosplayer Night Mage, Michael Wilson?
no.
He is a phenomenal cosplayer, and he does it all for charity. So he will sell prints and they all go to like a local Make-A-Wish. He visits hospitals, but if you ever have a cosplay question, he will graciously help you, and he is just the most down to earth and lovable creature. Yeah.
What's his name is Night Mage.
Yeah, Night Mage.
That's funny because the one I was thinking about is Night Vale. That's the one I know, or Vale for short, Night Vale. Uh, yeah, we just call her Vale, and she's been on, and she's fantastic. I'm blown away by her creativity. She makes some of the and such. You know what it is? It's the inner joy. It's the inner
Yeah.
joy when you watch her videos. So you just see that joy, and it's just
Yes.
like you just want to bottle it because you never see it. Not too much. Some people, but she seems like 24/7. I think the inspiration to create causes a lot of that joy. I mean, I can see in your face when we're talking how you're lighting up when we're talking about haunts and cosplay. So you're
I
really
like
digging
doing
the idea.
things.
Right, you like to create. You like to create. So
Yes.
what was the first acting job that you did? Or
Um,
film job? Did you start as an actor, or did you start on the sidelines? Because you mentioned about, I'm pretty good on set. Did you start as a crew member, or did you
yeah.
go? Okay,
I started in special effects, um, on a film to finish a film, called Sidling Hill, that was filmed in the Sidling Hills, and that was definitely a learning experience. I made some of my own, um, prosthetics. I had to replicate, prosthetics that a previous artist had made, and it worked out pretty well. And then I got to meet some new friends, and they kind of showed me the ropes on using tubing and pumps for blood and things like that, and resources for props. And then someone on the set of that, his name's Darren, and he introduced me to Brad Twigg, and Brad Twigg cast me in Death Board. That was my first feature film, and that was my first lead role.
Oh my
So
god.
there we go.
Your introduction, your first film is in, wow, and you're the lead. Wow.
Yep.
So what was it like? I mean, were you too nervous or anxious to be scared, or was it
Oh, yeah,
just
I
like,
was just ready to roll. It's I love portraying characters. Kind of going back to haunt acting or cosplaying. Just getting into that, and I think the biggest thing was me getting familiar with the people on set. I think that was the thing that I was most concerned about, because it was my first movie, like, acting, and but within a few hours, it was gold.
I'm looking at the cast on it, and one thing that comes at me is the fact there just seem to be a lot of new actors on the film too. There's only really two people with their pictures on there, which pretty much means they have other credits.
Yeah.
Um, was that the case? Was this pretty much the first film for everybody? And if so, what was it like working in that environment?
I know that there are some familiar faces in the Fuzzy Monkey films, um, that like Maggie's one, Roseanne is another one, um, but there are some folks that have worked with, Brad, and I can't speak for them, but I think some folks were helping out, as friends, if, trying to make something work so they can help a friend create a thing. Um, and I think even in some films, people come into it to be extras or just to give it a try, but it's not something that they're super passionate about. So they're not worried about updating the IMDb's and getting
Right.
all of that credit and continuing to book more. So I
Yeah.
I can't really I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how many first timers there were. I can tell you who I know were seasoned and have worked with Brad in the past, but I'm not necessarily sure about the first timers. I was for sure, but
If we could, if you had to, your body of work as a working actress, which movie would you tell people to sit there that best represents you and your abilities? Which movie are you most proud of in the fact of your acting skill?
honestly, I'm going to say, the most recent one that I just wrapped up with last week was Cracula. Um, I stepped up to bat and am playing 2 completely different characters in this film.
Those are, those movies, those type of movies right there. They're tough, aren't they? Do you feel like? Do
How
you feel like?
so?
I mean, do you feel like? Well, the subject matter. The subject matter. It's, again, it's like I watched a movie yesterday, and it was a comedy horror,
Uh-huh.
and you can see the actors, they're working with the material, and some of them are rolling with it, and there's some are just sort of like, I mean, they're good, they're really good, but it was just, I don't know, maybe the storyline was just a little bit, maybe, because you're having a hard time wrapping it around like this. You guys are having so much fun, but it's got to be at the same time, it's got to be hard to sink your teeth into the material, because it's hard to take it super serious, to really get in there and give, like, to give it an emotional performance.
Yeah.
And I think I asked that question maybe in an earlier form, but to do in a movie like that, like Cracula, I mean, just the title, as soon as people say, hear the name Cracula, the first thing people are going to do, they're going to start cracking up because it's a funny name for a movie.
Oh,
But at the
yeah.
same time, you want someone to go watch it and have fun with it, but at the same time, you want to be noticed. You want to have your abilities noticed and the effort that you put into the role noticed. You don't want people to sit there and just, oh my God, it's Cracula, because they missed the whole thing. They missed some great performances. Um, did that worry about you? I mean, like you like here, they're saying I would introduce you to Cracula.
Yeah.
That's my best represents me.
Yeah, I
But go ahead.
even though it sounds silly, I mean, it's definitely a silly movie. It is filled with laughs on purpose. Um, but it's still a well-told story with memorable characters, and when they're cast right, um, I think you can look past the silliness of the name, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I think, you mean you really want like the movie I watched. I'm gonna name it because I stand with it. It's a fun
sure.
movie. You get a blast with it. I'm the Cron Killer, and I'm sitting there watching it and like, man, this is actually really good. I'm really enjoying the performances out of it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I've seen that, but there's a lot of comedy too, and I'm afraid that people are sitting there going, if they're too busy yucking it up, they're missing the subtleties of some of the performances.
Right.
It's hilarious, but sometimes sometimes you miss things that are right in front of you, as an
Mhm.
audience member.
Yeah.
And I just feel like as an actor, I mean, does that bother you sometimes knowing that maybe the subtleties of a role, even a movie like this, is overlooked?
Not really, because everybody's going to interpret movies differently. Everybody's going to interpret art differently. And there could be something that I really worked hard on and I really wanted to play this role super seriously. And someone might not see that. And that's okay. At the end of the day, as long as they gave it a chance and, you know, if they enjoyed it in some form or fashion, that's cool with me. And, if questions come up about something, they can watch it again.
Yeah. Let's see, Princess here. Let's see, Melissa. I have a recommendation. Check out Upside Down from 2012, starring Kristen Dunst and Jim Sturgis. That's
I've
actually a pretty
never
good
heard
movie.
of that, but I do like Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah,
So,
that's a. I think it's called Upside Down. I think it's called. It's really good movie. Uh, let's see. And then he comes up with your Joker cosplay looks sick. Can you do hair?
what Joker cosplay? Unless you're talking about my clown.
Yeah, I think you must be
So,
talking about the clown.
yeah,
I
I
do.
have say I have a clown character that I play at the haunt. Her name is Calliope. So she does kinda look like Joker a little bit. I mean, right now I have green hair and makeup is I have, like, the red lips, but, that is a character that I've grown to just play when I feel like it.
Are clowns some of your? I mean, I take it you're not scared of clowns.
Oh, no, I love playing clowns, like, I am waiting for a role where I'm actually playing a clown on film. You hear that, folks? Cast
That's
me, I
right.
wanna be a clown, let's go.
Let me ask you this: what actually does scare Melissa? I mean, if you were to play off against a creature that scared you, what creature would it be?
Wow, honestly, I this is hilarious. So, I do not like touching fish. I l so I feel like some kind of fish creature
Uh-huh.
because I do not like touching scales.
What about
No.
frogs? What about frogs?
I can do frogs. I can do frogs. My son has a leopard gecko. I was just holding him. He was completely fine. But fish? Ugh. Nope.
Uh,
So if you like start throwing bass at me, I'm gonna cry.
so no fish movies. Future directors coming in here. No fish movies. No Jaws 5 or Jaws 6. All right. So that was your first lead role, and you came out. What three things did you take out of your first shoot, your first location? What are three lessons or the three best pieces of advice that you got from your director that you took with you to the next role?
Oh, wow. I would say, oh my goodness, adapt and overcome. I think that's the biggest one because things happen on set, and if you wanna get the movie done, you know, you do plan B, or you have to, just work around whatever obstacle is happening, adapt and overcome. That has become such a life mantra for me.
Um,
Um, yeah.
Tom Gross just walked in and said he must be a film director. He just said,
Yes.
"Got it. Loves
Hi,
fish."
Tom. No fish, Tom. No fish.
Let's see.
Sushi? Yes. Live and
Let's see.
floppy? No.
And Steven, the Horror Freak 85, fellow podcaster, he is also writing a script that has some clowns as a killer in it with an interesting twist. Well, you know
What a
what?
twist.
I'm all about that. How do you get your scripts? Do you get parts by auditioning, or is it indie word of mouth that gets you your roles? And
Both.
what do you prefer? Do you prefer someone calling you up and asking you to do it, or do you feel more, or do you like to audition for your roles?
I've been lucky enough to, um, been cast in most of my roles as, "Hey, I would like you to be in this movie. This is who I'm thinking. What do you think?" Um, and the couple I have auditioned for, there's definitely, fulfillment there, like, if it's an achievement because you had to put yourself out there to a stranger, and, that's cool too. Because then it's like, "Alright, well, at least somebody can see that I can do a thing." But, I like when people reach out and they're like, "Hey, look at this script. What do you think? Do you wanna be a part of it?" Um, I just think that's a huge compliment.
Yeah. I was asking that question. I'm thinking that's actually a really good question because it's like, yeah, you could get cast by friends. Yeah, I got a part for you. I got a part for you. But it goes back to what I said earlier. It's like, when you come on set, you don't have that, seeing old friends, that, that comfortability.
Yeah.
There's no creative, it's safe. It's safe. It's a safe spot creatively. But whereas on audition, you got to put something into it. You got to put something out, to show somebody who's most likely not a stranger.
Mhm.
That has to you have to elevate yourself for that one, and that's not
Yes.
necessarily a bad thing. Um,
No. It's
I
it's a
mean,
challenge. It's a challenge because, depending on what you're going for, it might not be a role that you're super comfortable with. And, when you do get those types of parts, then it's like, "Alright, that's cool. That means somebody trusts me to do the thing that, I'm new to," you know?
yeah, that's an interesting. It is interesting. To think about that because a lot of times I do see a lot of indie actors. They'll sit there and say, like I get called up. I get roles. They call me up. I haven't had an audition, and like I said, on one hand that's awesome. I mean, you get work, but the other hand, it's like, but there's no challenge. There's no growth. There's just you because you're looking to make yourself better.
Yeah. Y
Not always easy in the indie film, in the indie drama, in indie world, especially indie horror, because it's like
yeah.
it's are you looking now to expand the horizon, so to speak, creatively? Are you starting to look for more dramatic roles, things that will stretch you, and make you, well, again, stretch you and make you work harder, bigger scripts, is that something it's something on your mind, when you're acting, like, I want to do Shakespeare.
I don't know about Shakespeare, but I would like to conquer something a little more serious. Maybe, a thriller or, something crime related. Um, I mean, obviously, horror and horror comedy are comfort zones, but I'm definitely willing to expand. But if somebody wants me to be goofy in a horror film and like cut someone's head off, of course I'm gonna still do it.
Uh,
Oh no!
how many people have you killed on screen versus how many times have you died?
Oh wow. I Oh my goodness. That's tough. I wanna say the ratio is probably 3 to 1. So for every 3 times I've died, I've killed somebody. I think
Oh,
that's the best way to put it. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. What do you like doing better? You like being the killer or dying?
I love being the killer. I love, being the menace and being a source of fear when I can. So,
Uh, Again, let me ask you, that leads to my next question. What's it like to kill somebody who you consider a friend off camera? Is it nerve-wracking to kill? Is it nerve-wracking to kill them?
no. No,
Or
if anything, it makes it more fun because not only does it give you, like, a talking point to talk about later with friends, like, "Oh, hey, this is so and so. I got to chop their arm off," like,
oh,
something goofy like that. Um, but also, again, it's just an idea of, if you're familiar with somebody and you have that rapport, it makes it easier to do, like, the choreographing of what's gonna happen and making sure everybody's safe and, um, yeah, just I feel like you have to do less takes when you have that kinda comfort.
you ever had a scene where an intense scene like that? You ever just lock up sometimes and just can't do it or have a hard time doing it? And if so, how do you overcome something like that?
Usually, when I have any filming issues, it's typically, in the dialogue. Sometimes my, I sometimes have a hard time spitting words out. Um, and that will kinda, give me some, uh, struggle, like right now. But it's really just taking a breather, taking a step back, and just, repetition, just, working it out. Um, that's been my biggest course of action, just, taking a moment to absorb the material, and if I'm having a tough spot with it, um, say that it's a spot where we can cut it into 2 different, sections, asking if we can do 2 shorter and then do 1 more of all of it together. And again, it's just repetition. Practice makes progress.
Um, who've been the 3 best directors that you've worked for?
Oh,
And
wow.
what makes them stand out for you?
Oh, goodness. Oh, so, Brad, he's my homie. Brad Twig is definitely like it we've our friendship has grown these past few years, and, like, I would be a horrible person if I didn't mention him. Um, and Eric Palmer has always been a nice guy to work with. I've been in a couple of his things, and always a nice guy. I always end up finding the people that I can just continuously break their balls, like, on and off screen, and that's kind of how we go there too. And, I'm trying to think other director-wise, my goodness. Um, I recently worked with, Josh Graves on Zombear, and seeing his growth as a director, has been really cool, and, I will be excited to be able to work with him again in the future 'cause,
He's
he's
gonna be here.
definitely I'm sorry?
He's gonna come on the show pretty soon.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I've got to work with him a couple times and seeing how, his the way that he works has developed and matured, and you can tell he's very passionate about what he's
Yes.
doing. So
I
I'll
gotta
give
tell
him.
you,
Yeah.
I admire him and respect him in the fact that he works his ass off to bring his movie to market.
Yeah.
Um, I was thinking about that Late Checkout, and
Yeah.
I was interviewing people from that movie when it was filming 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's just now starting to get out, and I'm sitting there going like, "Man, that's some perseverance right there." He didn't give up on it, he pushed it out. 2 years, that's a long time, even for indie films, that's a long
Oh,
time.
yeah.
But he still worked hard and made sure it got out. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it when it comes out, and I'll support it when it does. I mean, yeah, yeah, Zombear. Yeah, that's what got me to ask him to come on because I saw the name and I'm like, I gotta talk to a guy who comes up with a title called Zombear. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I own a cheetah, a real life cheetah. But these animal titles are they just crack me up. I got to go talk to the people behind it. Um, what makes these directors stand out? I mean, what's the one thing? I mean, other than being friendly and kind, because every director is that pretty much. But what makes them stand out? What is it? Their work ethic? Is it their ability to listen to you, to let you have a little bit of freedom to improv, to collaborate on? I mean, because I know that can be difficult on a
Mhm.
very tiny tight shoot.
Yeah.
So we don't have a whole lot of time for rehearsal or improv, but some directors will make sure that that happens for their actors. So what makes these three directors stand out to you in terms of advancing your own craft?
I definitely think part of it is creative freedom. That's a big contributor because, you can be handed a character and you can read it, study it, and then be like, "Hey, I thought about this, this, and this." And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, "Go for it." Worst case scenario is we have to do a retake on that specific scene because something wasn't working right. But, the creative freedom and having trust in their cast that they're bringing on.
We got another question in from Prince. Wants to slide over to music.
Oh,
Yeah, let's slide over there because how important is music on a set? I
oh my
mean,
goodness. I'm always moving. So if there's music on, I'm jamming. Um,
you always think about a set being sort of quiet and everybody standing around waiting for for the director to call action. But when times where you're setting up a shot, like okay, that's
yeah.
it, and print, and then you go ahead and start making on the next location. How important is music to a set to keep it loose and lively?
I think it's more important, like you mentioned, kind of in the down times, or, like, if you're doing makeup or things like that, just to kinda get in the vibe, I think it's always nice to have. Obviously, you can't always have it on set because they might
Right,
be filming in the next room, but when it allows, not only is it a way to just loosen up, but then also a way to explore each other's music genre taste, and just another way to build rapport that way too.
right.
But I
And
see, is it top 5 music artists I grew up with?
yeah, grew up with. I was gonna say there's gonna be five music that you play on set, but I guess he wants to know your five favorite music artists.
Oh, wow. So, that I grew up with, my goodness. So, I am a big lover of Linkin Park.
Oh,
So, that was something that was really big, in my middle school, high school. I also really enjoy Depeche Mode. I have a few older siblings, a couple older siblings, so I was exposed to, them at a younger age. Anything that I could sing to, like, I grew up listening to the Spice Girls, and I still have Spice Girls on my Spotify. Um,
wow.
Evanescence,
Is it
um,
cool to sit there and say I like Jerry Halliwell solos?
I'm sorry?
Is it okay to say I like Jerry Halliwell solo stuff?
I mean, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You do you, boo. Even
Yeah,
like,
we were talking about that yesterday when we were talking we're on the show. We're talking about the Spice Girls and going like, "Yeah, I got Jerry Halliwell solo record." It's
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I did."
And even like some of like Mel C's like dancey music, that's a lot of fun. Um, but more so now, I mean, I still listen to it's a mix, it's a hodgepodge of a lot of things, but a lot of Queen Herbie. She's an independent artist, very hip hop pop, but very good positive messages, a lot of women empowerment, manifesting good energy. Watsky's a good one. Um, oh my goodness. Kimbra's also a good one. Um, and oh my goodness. So speaking of just music and stuff, Kelly, are you familiar with Liam Sullivan, a comedian?
Mm, no.
Have you ever heard the song Shoes?
Uh-uh.
Oh my goodness. So, Liam Sullivan created this teen character named Kelly, and she had a whole album. I highly recommend you check it out because, oh my god, shows. That's always a fun one. So,
He created a character and recorded under okay. All right.
yeah. Yeah, and, like, 20 years later, Kelly was popping up in different bars and doing shows during Pride Month, and, like, everybody's I mean, you gotta check Kelly out.
So
It's a
Kelly is
vibe.
Liam. Kelly
Yeah,
is Liam, and he
yes,
dresses up like Kelly.
Kelly is a character that is played by Liam Sullivan.
Oh, okay. I got it. I got it. And yeah, Pride Month is well, just a couple of days ago, the end of it.
Yep.
Um, in your opinion, how have you been treated as a working actress on your different sets? Have you ever had anybody? Has there ever been any sort of bumps on set that you feel comfortable about speaking of? And if so, how did you handle it?
Um, I feel like if there was ever any bumps, it was never anything personal. It was trying to navigate things that were not expected. So whether, you know, people dropping off last minute because
Oh,
people do that in the indie community all the time, unfortunately.
yeah.
So it's working around that stressor or dealing with the weather. Like you're supposed to have an outside scene and um it decides it wants to downpour. So what do you do? But luckily, I have not come across any personal issues on set. Um, so far, knock on wood, the sets have been very welcoming and pretty chill. Pretty chill.
Um, how do you get your scripts, Melissa? I mean, again? Is it do you get anything solicited by unknown maybe directors you don't know about? I mean, I know that you mentioned earlier how some directors will call you and have a place for you, but do you get scripts from other directors who maybe don't know you, who you don't know, but maybe they've seen you in a role or a film and they'll want to come work with you? Um, how do you approach those scripts, and how do you choose if you do them or not?
So I haven't had a whole lot of that experience. Usually what happens is creating those contacts. So whether it be social media, that's usually a big one. And kind of getting feelers, getting to know each other to some degree before it's like, "Hey, look at this script." The only time I really get scripts sent to me is because the person knows me personally and trusts me to look at it, not share it, and provide feedback or interest in being a part of it. Um, but typically, I'm not just handed scripts just because I'm Melissa. I'm not there yet. So,
how close do you feel that you are? I mean, where do you think that would what do you think it will elevate you to the next level?
honestly, I don't know, and I'm okay with not knowing. Um, at this point in my life, I'm enjoying the ride of what indie horror has provided to me. Um, I do not have the means to just drop my full-time job and just go and do this thing. Um, also, having a family at home. So, I am just living in the moment and being present. Um, if it happens, that's awesome. But I'm not gonna be bummed if that moment doesn't happen for another 5, 10 years. But obviously, if something comes up and it's right, then, we're gonna go for it.
Um, I'll just ask some couple of fun questions here for you.
Sure.
Um, so tell us about 5 actors who you love to share us do a scene with. 5
5
actors.
actors that I would like to do a scene with?
Yeah. If you got a chance to work with 5 actors, male actors, which 5 would you like to work with and why?
5 male actors and why? Oh my
We'll do
goodness.
we'll do the women in a second.
Sure. I mean, this is gonna be a given, but, Robert Englund, 'cause duh. I got to meet him a couple times just because of conventions and stuff, and such a gem. Um, so that's one. Um, I really enjoy, Jim Carrey. I know that he really isn't into acting anymore, but, like, hey, if that ever happens, like,
Right.
I'm in. Um, I think oh my goodness. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the people that, like, pop in my brain have passed, so I'm, like, trying to think of people that are still around and doing the things. Um, da, 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 da. Um, wow. I'm stumped, dude. Um,
Tom saying he better be on the list.
okay, Tom Gross.
Okay.
Tom Gross. We better work together. You hear me?
Okay,
Um,
so that's 4.
that's 4. Oh my goodness. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, no, I think that's 3 'cause
No,
Robert
yeah, I
Englund.
didn't do I'm doing horrible at this part
Yeah.
because it's just, like, so
I think
many.
actress is gonna be so much easier for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, da, 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 da. This is, like, really weird, but,
Mhm.
oh, no, Matthew Lillard. Oh my gosh. Matthew Lillard? Matthew Lillard? Like, I don't see that happening anytime
Wait a
soon.
minute, is Stu still alive or not?
I'm sorry?
Is Stu still alive in the Scream universe?
Oh, oh, ooh. I kinda feel like he is, but
Kinda feel like he's dead.
um,
He
my
got a
goodness,
whole
but
he got a TV that was on, put on his head, he got electrocuted.
did he? When did that
Yeah,
happen?
yeah, the first movie, the first Scream.
Really?
Yeah, that's how
Why
he
is that
yeah,
it's passing me.
Billy and, first it was Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich, they came in together, and then they were stabbing each other.
Yeah.
They and then, he was, "I feel a little woozy here," and then he got pushed over, and he fell down, and then the TV fell, and it fell right on his head, and it broke, and he got electrocuted.
Oh, geez. Why don't I remember that part?
And then, Skeet Ulrich, of course, he went out and got 2 in the dome, shot him once and says, "You're not coming back here," and put another one in his head. It's like, "Damn, okay." Uh,
Um, okay, how many more do I have?
uh, let's see, you got Tom, and you got Robert England, and you got Matthew Lillard. You got
Uh-huh.
2 more males.
Okay. Okay. 2 more males. Okay. So, I'm gonna try to think of someone in the indie community just because why not? Um, and it has to be somebody I have not worked with, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, it can be. Yeah, it has to be somebody you haven't worked with.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
cheating. Yeah. Well,
I'm
well, I guess so. You can count it. You can count it.
well, it's one of those, like, if you were in, like, the same movie, but you really didn't, like you weren't on screen
Oh,
with them yet.
right, right. If you weren't okay. No,
That's
yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah. Okay.
I have a buddy, Mark Valenti, that I would like to actually, like, be on screen with him sometime. I think that would be a lot of fun. And screw it. Steve Rosinski. There you go.
Steve, Steve, Steve Rudzinski
Yes.
from
Like, I've I'm sorry?
from Carousel.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Carousel. Duke. What about Duke? Uh, oh, that's awesome. That's great. I okay. So like, I think Steve Rudzinski. I've always said this. I think he's a hell of a human being. I
Yeah,
do.
he's a great guy.
He's a great person. He dresses up and he goes around. You mentioned about that other cosplayer that goes around does. He goes around and he raises money for the children who are sick. Steve does that too. He dresses up for Make a Wishes, and he dresses like Spider Man or Superman or whatever the hero may is called for, and he gets flown around the country and he goes in there and makes those kids' days. Um, I think he's amazing myself. I respect the hell out of him. Good call. Good call. And his wife's not bad either.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's amazing.
yeah, she's really fun too. I was actually hanging out in the other day on her. She was doing a stream and she was playing a video game. They didn't know who I was, but I'm sitting there. I'm going like, "Where's Duke? And get some unicorn armor." And it's like, if you only had some cats in there, you'd probably win. I was like, I'm giving them all these clues to like, because they've been on the show a couple of times. I'm giving all these different clues, like, okay, you know a lot about us. Why is that? But they never asked. All right, so let's go with the five actresses that you either enjoyed acting with or would you like to act with.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, the 2 well, I would say definitely, like, for, A-list stardom, Winona Ryder, definitely, and, Christina Ricci are
Mhm.
2.
Yeah.
And then in the independent scene, Jen Nangle.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yes.
goodness. Yes. Yes.
And Tom, we better be still beside each other. I'm telling you, if I'm not
Yeah.
beside Jen, there's gonna be elbows thrown.
I love Jen Nagel. Yeah. Have you met Jen yet?
We've only have interacted over social media, but we're so excited to meet each other at Gross Fest that's coming up in a month that
She's a hell of
it's
an
like
actor.
it's gonna be like we've known each other for forever, but
Yeah.
it hasn't happened yet.
She,
But,
she, she's a hell of an actress.
yeah.
Yeah, I adore Jen Nagel very much. She was a Grail guest. I chased her for 2 years before I could get her on the show. It took me
Yeah.
2 years to get her on. I I
Yeah.
I, I admire her. I think she's badass. I love her Malvolia character too. And she always and she,
Yes.
she always she's always looking for victims, and I'm always volunteering me and the cheetah. We'll be victims. Yeah, she's
Um,
she's amazing.
then there's, 2 local actresses that are dear friends of mine that we have not been on film together yet. Christine Mancini and, Samantha Ainsworth. Those
Okay.
are 2 phenomenal actresses that I would love to work with, and, I mean, I'm in touch with them on a regular basis. It's just those stars have not aligned yet.
Um, let's see. Oh, Prince wants to know, are there any foreign films that you've seen and liked?
Um, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm trying to think. Was it, Train to, Busan was a foreign? Yes?
Yeah, that was
Because it was
Korean.
the zombie train film. That one was cool. Um, I Other than that, I have a really hard time remembering foreign films, and,
I
I think the biggest issue is the subtitles. Um, I will try to do subtitles, but it takes away from me enjoying the movie. So, I haven't found a lot of foreign films that, like, stick in my brain because of that.
I volunteer with Evil Lurks Within. I volunteer that
Oh,
for you.
okay,
Yeah, I volunteer that.
okay,
There's another movie that I saw, but I can't recommend that one. That one's a little bit, but it's phenomenal Spanish. Prince, we
okay.
asked that question. We asked the music question. You were gone. You left the room. Yeah, oh, we busted our chat. We
Y
asked that question, and you weren't here. Oh my
How
God.
dare you? We'll go through it real quick.
Grr.
Spice Girls, Linkin Park, Evanescence, Depeche Mode, and oh, I mentioned Kelly, Liam Sullivan, Shoes.
Um, well, you have to if you're gonna mention Godzilla, you gotta mention all the Godzillas. I don't know. You know what's funny? It's funny about that is some movies that you think of, and you don't really think of them as foreign films anymore, like Godzilla. You see them so
Yeah.
much all the time. It's just like you don't even think about that. Like that's actually a foreign film. It is. All right, so let's move on to another subject. Um, what do you think? What do you think? Hollywood's really struggling with. If you could be, how about this, if you could be a studio head for a week, if they plopped you down to say in Disney and said, okay, Melissa, you're running the show for a week, what would you do to improve the movie going experience here?
The movie going experience?
Movie going experience. You have total control of the studio. You could act some films. You could okay some films. What would you do if you were a studio head for a week?
Give micro budgets a chance. You
Yeah.
know, those ideas, those micro budget ideas, and giving them the funding that they deserve.
Yeah, you know what? That really, yeah, I've been hearing that more and more and more, where over it's been said over and over. It's like, instead of doing $100 million, do 10 $10 million movies.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think the
there's so many
return.
good micro budget films, and you don't need the multi-million dollar budgets to do it. I mean, obviously, it makes it a little easier, but
Uh, hey, Stephen, our favorite press guy, our press. I always call him a guru. He says he's not a guru. He is to me. Stephen Chang's in the house. Greetings, sir. Glad you are here.
Hi, Steven.
And hopefully you feel better. He says crashed about 6 p.m. with a headache, but feeling a lot better. All
Well,
right.
that's good.
Uh,
Headaches are awful.
yeah, they are.
Ugh.
Have you ever been hurt on a set, or have you ever seen an injury on a set? And how does it get handled? I mean, because and especially on an indie set, there's no like
Yeah.
a team of medical or an ambulance there to the side. Have you ever seen or yourself been hurt on a set?
Um, actually, no. I have seen instances of, um, somebody getting overheated, and luckily, there was folks on site that are first aid trained, like myself. I'm first aid and CPR trained. So it was, uh, at least there was people around to handle the situation, and it was done the way it was supposed to, and everybody was safe. But in regards to actual injuries, I can't think of any, which good. And that's because the crew is taking safety into consideration, whether it be crash pads and practicing like choreographed fights and kills and things like that, to make sure that nobody's getting
I'm going to go back and take you back to the studio that you're
hurt.
ahead of.
Okay. Okay.
So, are you a fan? Give me some pros and cons of streaming.
Of streaming?
of streaming, and and your personal opinion of it.
Okay. Um, so I mean, I we have streaming apps. Um, I think pros, it gives people access to films that they would have never known existed. Like, I would have never even known Llamageddon was a thing, and I watched it on Amazon Prime, and I adored that film for how goofy it was, but I don't think I would have seen a physical copy of it anywhere. So, I think for streaming, it does help put a lot of independent film in people's reach. However, it does hurt the physical media that people still want.
Yeah,
Um, that physical media is starting to dwindle down. Um, and that's the uh, con of everything. And the fact that streaming has gotten to a point where it's just like watching cable because they want you to continue to upgrade to do the things to get rid of the ads, and you're paying as much for 4 or 5 subscriptions than you would just for basic cable with commercials. The
yeah,
only upside is you have more of um, independence on what you get to watch. You don't have to necessarily follow a schedule. Um, yeah, so I would say the takeaway is the pros are, you know, indie films are getting more exposure. Um, But the cons are the loss of physical media, and the cost is basically the same as cable. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, it used to
yeah,
be where you would see someone do a talk show like this,
yeah,
and they sit there, and next thing you know, they're sitting there. We're gonna talk to the author. We're gonna go talk to the actress of this movie right here, and they show the cover, or we're gonna see the band come play this. And now it's just like you don't even do that anymore. Now it's just like, well, if you want to watch and catch them on streaming, you can see, catch them on Spotify, or you can catch them on Amazon Prime. There's no more of, you can pick this up on Tuesday, and at your local store. There's and I think it hurt. I think the lack of physical media hurts. It hurts. It hurts the independence. I really feel. I think it's
yeah,
it's almost like, I think it's designed. It's, you can almost say it's almost designed to knock them out. In a sense, now we see more and more of, every project that gets launched, and I've talked about this a lot because it comes up a lot, but a lot more projects are being done, funded solely by Indiegogos, because you can't get any money from anybody else. You can't get any
right.
investors anymore because you know they want their money back, and it's like, and streaming does not pay as much as physical media does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And just to answer Steven's question, it is Llamageddon. It is llamas from outer space that shoot lasers from their eyes.
Oh, they stole that from
It is
Laser Cats.
Yeah, it is a movie that is purposefully awful in all the right ways. Like, if you are the person that looks for continuity errors, it purposefully puts it out there for you. Like, yes, this is a joke. We are going to be so all over the place, and you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Says, Philippine prices in physical media is so expensive, so streaming is like the only available option here. But I respect collectors all over the world. Always love talking movies with people. Yeah, that I feel really bad for that too. Princess mentioning about the Philippines. It does seem like, or the fact that you still got physical media, prints, is a lot more than a lot of countries do. I know. I think Australia, New Zealand, and Mexico. I don't think Disney ships physical media to them anymore. Um, it's an asylum movie.
Ugh.
It sounds like an asylum movie. So I think we talked about this briefly, but I don't think we got your answers to that one yet. So we're gonna do that now. You as a studio head, what are 4 movies that you hate the most? That if they were brought up to you and like, okay, we're gonna make this movie, and you as a studio head are going like, the hell we are. What 4 movies would you wipe off? What 4 movies would you sit there and say, not on my watch?
Oh my goodness. So, are you saying in regards to, like, movies that have already been made?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
li okay, so, like, My Blue Valentine, I fucking hate that movie. It can die.
Isn't that the one with is that the one with Ryan Gosling?
Yes, yes, it is awful. It is sad, and I don't like it.
Okay,
Um,
feel the heat there. All
oh,
right,
yeah. Um,
Blue Valentine out.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely out. Um, this is kind of a man, I don't know if I have a whole lot of hatred towards certain, um hot take, oh my gosh. I am here's one, I'm not trying to veer away from it, but I am not a big fan of Ryan Gosling. So, like, the any of the Fast and Furious movies, they can suck big
Oh,
phallic things. I hate
can
the
we
Fast and Furious movies.
can't we save the first 2?
No. I mean, like,
What?
I've no, like, I've seen enough to know that, like, any, like, car movie, no, like,
But
absolutely not.
the first 2 weren't bad. They were at least on the planet.
No. No.
Do you know
It's
you know you
no.
know the you know the second one gave us Rip from Yellowstone, right?
I have not seen Yellowstone, so I'll put that out there.
I'm
Um,
trying I'm trying hard to save the first 2.
yeah. Oh, no, you're not saving it. They're gone. They're gone. They're out the window.
Well, okay, wait a minute, hold on. I got one more ace to play, right? You like Silence of
Sure.
the Lambs, right? You love Silence of the
Yeah.
Lambs?
I don't love
Buffalo
it,
Bills
I
in the
can
second one.
appreciate it.
Well, Buffalo Bills in the second movie.
Okay.
Can
It's
we
still
save it?
going. No, it's not saving it. It's gone.
Oh, geez. Wow. I think I've created a studio monster. Okay, so the Fast and Furious movie's gone.
Yes,
Blue
they're gone.
Valentine, Blue Valentine, gone. Okay, so you got 2 other movies. Now everybody's cracking up.
Um, oh my goodness. I would have to say what's another one that I'm just like, "That's so stupid. I can't do it." Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of, like, even just, like, a horror one that I'm like, "No, this is painful." Um, oh, that's hilarious. No, Ryan Gosling. Um, no, 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 no. So, yeah, that's Paul Walker, but still The Fast and Furious is awful. Um
Rough.
Honestly, so
Uh,
I'm probably gonna get some heat for this, but just because I'm
Not
not
probably
a
not
big
anymore. You already gotten for the Fast and
I know.
Furious. So.
The Night of the Museums, those movies,
Oh,
I could do without. Other than, like, there's Robin Williams, I adore
yeah.
him, but, like, I'm not a
But
big fan of Ben Stiller.
oh my, yeah, but Robin Williams supersedes Ben Stiller. I mean, if you think Ben Stiller is like, right here, but Robin Williams is like right here. Robin
Yeah.
Williams should be able to squish him out.
If Robin Williams would get his own movie and we said, "Screw Ben Stiller," and then, like, rewrite it, then I'm down. Then we can talk about it.
Oh my God, this is this turned out to be an awesome question. It really has.
Owen Wilson? So, like, who does Melissa really
Ka-chow!
Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, so there's that. So the Night Museums and
Don't bring up Owen Wilson because he's right in there next to Ben Stiller.
yeah, Owen Wilson's awful. I'm sorry.
He is awful.
I think what it is I have a hard time with,
Except for one movie. There's one movie that he did do that I really liked of his, and
okay.
I was so shocked when I saw him in the movie. I'm like, "This is gonna be a disaster," and in fact, actually turned out to be damn good, and that was
Yeah.
Behind Enemy Lines. That was
I
a
have
good
not
Owen
seen it.
Wilson.
I have not
That's
seen
a
it.
good. That's jeez. That could actually. I might actually be one of his best performances he's ever given.
And ooh, so I just thought of my last one, and
Uh-oh.
don't hate me, Elf with Will Ferrell.
Can't you do Wedding Crashers instead?
I would watch Crashers before I would watch Elf.
But that had Owen Wilson and Will Ferrell in it together.
No, I thought Wedding Crashers had, Vince
It was,
Vaughn.
it was Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn, and Will Ferrell.
I'm trying to think. You're not a
And
Will Ferrell fan?
Elf
There's some Will Ferrell is okay. Like Saturday Night Live Will Ferrell, like classic Will Ferrell, yes. But I feel a lot of the films that he plays, it's it's
it's
just basically Will
yeah.
Ferrell playing just in different outfits. Like it doesn't
I
feel like it's different characters.
I like Will Ferrell. I just don't like some of his choices. I got to tell you, honestly, I hate Wedding Crashers. I hated him for that. After he did
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers, I couldn't stand watching him anymore. I
I
found that
can do
movie.
Night at the Roxbury. I can do Night at the Roxbury, Will Ferrell, Steven. I can do that.
Tom's sitting there going like, "I'm with you on Elf," but wait a minute, hold on. But it had Tyrion Lannister in it.
So you said, what would I either get rid of or fix?
Yeah,
Elf could be a movie. Just get
we could
rid of
fix
Will
it.
Ferrell and
Okay,
like recast it with somebody else.
who would you recast it with? And don't say Ryan Gosling.
No, not Ryan Gosling. Oh. Um Oh my goodness. I don't even know who I'd put in that role, but there's just something about Will Ferrell that, there I don't always like him in roles, and that's just one of them that I'm like, "Eh."
Stevens Stevens mentioned. What about Chris Kattan?
As Elf, that would be hilarious.
That could have
I think he's
promise.
a little short for what they were
He,
trying to interpret though, but
he, yeah, I've only seen really one Chris Kattan movie that I really liked, and that was Undercover Brother. That was hilarious.
No,
Don't hate me. Don't hate
you're
me.
fine. You're fine. You
I'm,
do
I'm,
you. You do you.
I'm thinking right here. Okay, I make one request for Elf.
Okay.
Okay, so who we putting in Will Ferrell spot?
Oh, who? Oh, I thought you were gonna tell me.
No. I'm not the studio head. I'm sitting out
Oh.
here. I'm buying a ticket for Elf. So who am I going to watch this? Who's replacing Will Ferrell?
Oh, man. Who's replacing Will Ferrell? Um, ooh, that's rough.
And not Steve, not Vince Vaughn either.
No, not Vince Vaughn, not that wouldn't work. Trying to think.
Uh, who-
Can I phone a friend?
yes. Steven's
Chat.
saying
Who are we replacing Will Ferrell with in Elf?
I man, wouldn't you replace? Wouldn't you? What about why not Peter Dinklage?
Because I feel like it's no, no. Like I think he would definitely I could see him somehow getting it put in as a character, but like I don't see him being bubbly. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like the bubbliness that comes from it.
Yeah, I mean,
Somebody.
yeah, but he
Oh,
can do. Okay, what?
so this is gonna be kind of a stretch, but I'm gonna go for it. So the cosplayer that I mentioned earlier, Michael Wilson, he actually does a buddy cosplay. I think it would be hilarious to put Michael Wilson
Why not?
as the new elf.
Why not? I mean, you're
There
the
you go.
studio head. You could put him in. Uh, so what do you got coming up? That's a great question. I have to save that for future interviews. Studio head. Um, man, I like Zoe Deschanel. She's really perky. I'm all right with Zoe. I like her. I like her sister though. I like Emily. Emily is. I used to watch her on Bones. She was not the nicest person in that show. Let me tell you. You go rewatch that series. She was prickly. Um. So what's coming up next for you? I mean, uh, Cracula is now done. I mean, what will we be working on for the rest of the summer?
Oh my goodness. So other than there's just like one pickup scene that I have to do for Cracula to be officially wrapped. But other than that, the rest of my summer is fairly open other than vending at Gross Fest on August 2nd and 3rd. So
Where
it'll
would
be my
that be?
first. I'm sorry?
Where was Gross Fest be held at?
It will be held, let me get the exact location because my brain is frozen. And Tom's gonna be like, "How dare you?" It's gonna be at the, Comfort Inn Conference Center in, Pittsburgh, PA.
Wow,
Yes,
that'll
and
be fun.
yes, it'll be a lot of
Will
fun. It's
will
my
this be your
first
first
time
convention? Yeah, so
this
it's gonna be
at first time putting myself out there. I got a vendor table, to, uh, push me, and I will have movies that I've been a part of. I might have, one of the directors popping in to, help me out, but, movies, prints, stickers, blah, 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 you know, making connections.
If the Rosinskis are there, you should try to see if you can get your table and sit next to them.
Well, I'm sorry?
If the Rosinskis are there, you should try to see if you can set your table up next to them.
Oh, yeah, he'll be there. He'll be there.
Yeah. Yes, he's a great guy. I really like him. Now again, what's the date of the convention?
August 2nd and August 3rd.
Wow. So this is your first. That's going to be exciting for you. I can't wait to hear your experiences. Are you going to record it and do like vlogs from your experience? That would be
I'm
cool.
I typically don't. Usually, I might take little clips here and there and, put it on, like, an Instagram story, but not a true vlogging situation. I am hoping to, still, um, collect some memories there, probably more so photos, um, but we shall see.
Let's see. Real quick here. Let's see. Let's see. Not usually two or three shows per. Oh, okay. Let's see. Steven's mentioning his service. Oh, do I have 8 questions every day? 8 question comes on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Though we will be black tomorrow. We will be dark tomorrow because it's 4th of July. So I won't be up here doing this tomorrow. I will be back on Friday. I'll be Friday, but most of the time it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, unless there is a special cause to do another day. Or sometimes I do the afternoons whenever I'm doing an international show. So most of the time it's just three. Yeah, I do a day show. Sometimes when I do a day show, it is early in the afternoon. Uh, um, I can't thank you enough for coming out and hanging out with us, Melissa. This has actually been so much fun. Um, and you're a delight to talk to, that's
Oh.
for sure. Uh,
Well,
uh,
thank you for having me.
I can't wait. Like I said, I can't wait for Cracula. I can't wait for Crackcoon. I just love those types of movies. They just make me smile. As long as the effort's put into it. Like I have
Oh,
seen,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen some movies where you could definitely tell the effort's not there, and it comes across really poorly, and that's a bummer because it's a good concept. Some
Mhm.
comes over with Crackcoon's a great concept, right? A crazy
Oh,
ass
yeah.
raccoon, but if you don't go out there and you only have like a $200 budget and it shows like that way, then you just sort of waste your bullet, so to speak. You waste your shot because you come
Well
out there and you
yeah.
don't do a very good, it's not a very good movie.
Well,
But
I can tell you that there was a premiere for Crackoon and Killer Camp Out Part 2 back at the end of May, and so I got to see Crackcoon in its entirety, and it is a ride, from start to finish. And the fact that they had, various raccoon puppets made for this, and the puppeteering was great, the acting was great, and it was filled with laughs. It was such a good time watching
That,
it.
that's really important. I can't wait for it to come out. Do we have any idea when it's coming out yet, or or no?
I don't want to say the exact date because that might still be up in the air, but I believe fall.
Okay.
Fall, around October, but I will
Hopefully a
let
little
the
bit earlier.
director do the official announcement, but
Sure.
I believe, like, around October is the, ideal release date.
I hope it comes out as I hope it comes out in physical media, not only for us the fans, but actually for you guys as well.
Mhm.
So the movie can make some money back, and it can be seen by a lot of people, owned by a lot of people, talked about by a lot of people. That's really what you want for any and all independent any production, no matter what the genre is. You want that physical release. You really do. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great on streaming, but man, oh man, there's nothing quite like, grabbing a disc and slide into the player. All right, last round of questions. Happy American Independence Day. I appreciate that. It might be our last one. Let's see. Steven says, I have a movie suggestion for you, Rabid Love. I have a suggestion for you, Steven, The Coffee Table, but only Steven. That's Yeah, yeah. You would hate me. All right. Thank you guys so much. So before I let you guys go, I will let you know who's coming up on Friday. And I'll tell you what, we just started a new a segment here on the channel. So Friday will be Australian actress Jamal, and she'll be here at 8 o'clock on Friday. We are also doing Schlock and Sharks month here on the channel. I teamed up and did a collaboration with our friend Hey Internet. It's Eric. We are doing Sharks and Schlock. I gave him 5 shark movies to watch and review. He gave me 5 schlock movies to watch and review. Our first 2 are up and running. So far, he is dominated because his movie. I gave him a great movie, but the movie he gave me just if I showed you the movie, I could save Fast and the Furious. I promise you that. If I showed you Creepshow 3, you would give me Fast and the Furious back.
I
And
doubt
here's
it, but
ooh, challenge accepted. If it's on Tubi, I'm sending you the
let's
link.
go.
You'll owe me a 10-second car. All right. All right, everybody. I will. Happy 4th of July to you guys all. We will see each other again on Friday at 8 o'clock for Australian Taiwanese actress Jamal. She'll be here. Thank you for your support. Without you guys, I wouldn't have a show. I appreciate it. Melissa, stay there for one quick second into the chat. We're
Sure.
gonna say goodnight, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.